In the realm of baking, you may know by now that yeast plays a crucial role in creating those airy, fluffy loaves of bread and perfectly risen pastries or rolls. But what happens when your recipe calls for active dry yeast and all you have on hand is instant yeast? Fear not, we are going to explore this question, ensuring that all your baking endeavors remain seamless and successful. Can you substitute instant yeast for active dry yeast? And, spoiler alert, the answer is yes. But how exactly can you make this substitution seamlessly? Well, let's break it down. Understand the difference. Both instant yeast and active dry yeast are varieties of baker's yeast. A simple but key difference lies in how they absorb water. Instant yeast boasts a higher moisture content compared to its active dry counterpart. Now this means it dissolves faster and it activates more quickly in your dough. So one of the perks to using instant yeast is that you can skip the traditional activating step. With active dry yeast, you typically dissolve it in warm water to activate it. It takes a few minutes to activate and then you add it with the rest of your ingredients. But with instant yeast, simply add it directly with your dry ingredients. Okay, we are clear, right? So moving on. I have good news. Both kinds of yeast will produce similar results in your end product. And believe it or not, you can substitute instant yeast for active dry yeast without any complicated conversions. That means use an equal amount of instant yeast as you would active dry yeast. So if your recipe calls for 2 teaspoons active dry yeast, but you only have instant yeast, you can add 2 teaspoons of instant yeast in place of the active dry yeast, and your recipe will still turn out to be a masterpiece. Now, with its rapid activation, instant yeast may cause your dough to rise slightly faster than when using active dry yeast. It may not, but just keep an eye on the rising process and be prepared to move on to the next step in your recipe if you need to. This watchful care ensures that your baked goods turn out perfectly every time. All right, now in conclusion, the answer to the question, can I substitute instant yeast for active dry yeast, is a resounding yes. With a simple 1-to-1 substitution ratio, you can seamlessly incorporate instant yeast into your favorite recipes. So the next time you find yourself in need of yeast for your baking adventures, feel confident reaching for that instant yeast. With its reliability and versatility, it's sure to become a staple in your pantry. Happy baking!